What is up, Solow Sportsters? We're here at our location at the US Open, bringing you a review of the Head Gravity 98. It's a blacked out model. It is a prototype. We're gonna tell you all the pluses, minuses, and everything. So check it out. One of our favorite parts of reviewing these rackets is picking the string and tension that goes with a racket. But in this prototype series, our hands were a little tied as Head sent it as a bundle with a prime overgrip, which is excellent, Head Hawk Touch, which is a superior feeling polyester round with a little bit of softness to it, and the racket. So we decided to do it justice and do it as Head wanted us to, and we put it in there at 54 pounds without going too tight on this heavy frame. Right out the gates, we have to talk about this unbelievable cosmetic that we have on the racket. It's somewhat blacked out. It has that two-tone like you have in all of the Head lineups, with a smooth, glossy finish here and then a matte finish on the rest. It looks really sharp, and it has a bit of a pop like that color shifting that you got to get used to in the other Gravity lines. But the bad news is that this is not the final verdict of what the Gravity 98 is going to look like. We do have that racket, and sadly, we're not allowed to talk about it or show it to you in this video, but trust me, it looks like a bit of an update to the current Gravity, so not a big change. I wish they would have gone with this cosmetic because it really is something special.
The Head Gravity Tour 98 is new for 2025 and has a head size of 98 square inches, an unstrung weight of 305 grams equaling 10.8 ounces. The swing weight is a bit higher at 322, putting the balance point at the 320 millimeter mark. It has a very soft stiffness with a 58 RA, an open string pattern of 16 mains and 19 crosses, and is a standard 27 inches long on this constant 22 millimeter beam. The grip size offering goes from 4 1/8 to 4 5/8 and comes stock with Head Hydrosord Pro in black on the handle. The color of this limited edition teaser seed racket is black with teal, but the actual update racket will have a totally different cosmetic altogether.
At the baseline, this racket felt like the gift and the curse. The reason it was the gift is because the racket head speed was tremendous. I felt swinging through on my forehand that I was getting more racket head speed. On the backhand, I felt like the racket was flying through the air, so that when I was maybe normally swinging at 50, 60, 70 miles per hour, it felt so much quicker. And it felt like a lot of that weight distribution was at the top. It is a somewhat balanced racket, but it just feels like the mass is there. So maybe it's countering out that handle, and it really explodes when you hit the ball. So get used to adding some extra MPHs to any of your ground strokes. And then now that dreaded part, what did I hate about it? I was struggling a bit where some of the balls were sailing. I wasn't able to finish my stroke or finish my swing where I can get that actual arc, that actual topspin on it. And I felt like if I really nutted it and hit it clean, it was piercing through the air, but with low margin of error. So if you have great control on both wings, this is an excellent racket. If you like a little bit of spin, you're gonna get it from this racket to be able to tame that shot. But every now and then, some shots are just so pure that the ball will have more power and fly than you're normally used to. The Gravity line has been very successful for Head, and it's probably in its second or third generation. But the Gravity 98 is a new model in that silo. So there used to be the Tour, the Pro, etc. They're heavyweight, and then you had their standard Gravity MP. All of those rackets usually have a great amount of plush comfort that goes excellent with control in their dense string patterns. In this 98, you're getting a smaller head size, obviously. You're getting that open string pattern, and you're not getting some of the traditional gravity features, but it's a nice addition to the line, and I think it's gonna be an excellent add-on of Head listening to what customers want and what players want, and always making their products better.
To understand this teaser racket, you have to understand how it fits into the full launch puzzle of how rackets come to market. First, Head goes to various retailers like ourselves, explaining the racket and taking in orders. After all the orders are gathered months in advance, Head knows what quantities to request from the factories for production. The factories take time to produce and ship these opening orders back to Head. Head then distributes the orders to retailers in time for the public release date. The release date of the final product of this racket is January 16th, 2025. Looking back at the start of the process, when retailers are setting their orders, they need a sample, or seed as it's called in the industry, to test to make their decisions for orders. What we are showing in this video is that very seed or teaser racket that is unfinalized. The final product will have nearly 100% of the same specs, as sometimes the initial feedback requires a little tweak or change, but often the final product just gets a final cosmetic to be debuted. With how well this particular release tested, we anticipate a very successful launch into market.
This racket seems to be a best of when it comes for Head rackets, and I'll explain. It starts at the top where you have a bit of a cap grommet system. So it's that a la Prestige racket that you might love if you're a Prestige player. And then it's a 98, it's not quite that normal Gravity 100, so it's channeling a bit more of that radical, if you will. It has that flat box beam that you might like from the Speed. So it's really like a best of where you're getting parts of the Prestige, the Radical, the Speed, and the Gravity all fused together in this excellent racket that Head is releasing for their lineup. For the serve, this racket was excellent. The swing weight was really putting extra pop on my serve. I could flatten it out, hit the kick, anything I wanted. And when it came to points, the first word that I can think of is quick. Whatever happened, it happened in 3-4 shots maximum. I was able to put a serve in, put the ball away, that 1-2 punch, or if the ball came back, it wasn't lasting much longer than that. This is an excellent weapon for aggressive baseliners, those that like to control the point and dictate the pace. That's how I like to play, and that's how much fun it was in match play. At the net, the Gravity 98 really held me down and performed well. Normally, I might struggle with the Gravity because it's such a dense string pattern to really feel the ball, and that continues in this model. I didn't feel as connected on my volleys, but the result was still good. So you might not feel the response that you want, but you're gonna get the performance response that you want. So that's a little bit of a drawback. And I think it's a bit of where the balance is, where the weight is, and how it kind of sits down the racket. But the thin beam, the smaller head size, just perfect. Absolutely excellent at the net. I was able to place the ball anywhere I wanted, and I felt excellent maneuverability and good movement when it came to anything short on the court.
Out of the hundreds of reviews we've done, this has received our highest marks to date in a Solow Sports graded review. To summarize, it's a massive sweet spot control racket with unbelievably fast racket head speed power on just about all shots, anywhere on the court, with soft injury reducing feel. Does that appeal to you? Because it should, and seems like anyone would benefit from those advantages. The only restriction is for the heavy weight for physically strong players or those rated 4.0 or higher, reducing the target market. Similar rackets are the Babolat Pure Strike 16x19, Technofiber TF40 315, Yonex V-Core 98 Tour, or Wilson Clash 98. Minimal innovations happen year to year in the typical racket manufacturer update, but Head has certainly raised the bar on what the definition of the modern racket is in 2025. I personally believe that other companies will shortly follow on this spec setup trend. As a teaser, this racket exceeds the hype, so get ready for the final version soon.
If you made it to the end of the video, we ask that you hit that subscribe button. It allows us to show you all these products that you see behind us because we have a brand new video every week.